Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar today. We hope that you're going to be able to participate with us and be able to watch this through Facebook. Just having a few technical issues here. Okay, so we've got Priscilla Bay Smith as our keynote presenter today, and I'm going to be the other presenter for you. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. If you have any questions during the webinar, can you please type them into chat? And alternatively, you could send us an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au. What we're going to be talking about today is the modern practice, and I think it should include research and development, but we're going to have a look at that soon. We're going to look at accounting firms of the future, and Priscilla's going to talk to you about that. And I'm going to talk to you about research and development claims that you could be making for your clients. So I'm now going to switch across to Priscilla. How are you today, Priscilla?
Thanks for having me today. I'm privileged to be here. Very, very pleased to be invited to the COVID series of webinars held by Peter. I do treasure his involvement with, with all these webinars and helping small business and accountants. And I am privileged to be one of the panel.
Okay, Priscilla, if you're happy to proceed.
Thanks, Peter. This one. So today, we decided to talk about the accounting firms of the future. And the modern practice model was developed by us, and our vision of the modern practice started to develop when a wind of change in accounting industry started to step in. That was quite a few years ago, and what we've done, we listened to the warnings from the experts. The change is coming, try to embrace it, try to implement new procedures, because only the accounting firms who they will flow with the change, they will actually survive in the next decade. So I started work on this model, and I am privileged to be here. Thanks, Peter. So I am the tax agent, senior accountant, and partner at Cloud9 Associate. And Peter, as always, he's our advisory expert supporting all our work. And we are supporting his platform because we believe in these amazing tools he created. So it's worth for you to follow us on our series. It is amazing expert material presented to you in the next few weeks. And we already have recordings, and those recordings, they are available on these websites. So as we said, Cloud9 Group is not an entity by itself, but is formed by two entities and many websites, which we start to develop and to support our group. Our group, what is trying to achieve, we're going to see in 1 second. We do have the tax agent firm. We do have the membership platform. This is the mentorship platform, and Cloud9 Resources. This is where we launch our training programs and our associations, including our association with BIZTOOLS. So if you want to understand about us and how the modern practice came about, our mission, we developed a mission to empower accounting professionals with tools and knowledge in order to achieve their goals. And our vision is innovation, automation, and the cloud. values as accounting professionals is integrity, consistency, and responsibility in everything we do. Now, when I say a mission, vision, values, we also want to project that it is good to actually develop a mission, vision, values. We've been mentored by the best practice, and this is where we picked up quite a lot of expert ideas. So the modern practice, through our eyes, our vision of a modern practice, of course, this is not exhaustive, but this is how we see it, and these are the fundamentals of the modern practice model, the way we see it. Low overheads, innovation, automation, the cloud, efficiencies, improved processes, improved workflow, improved communication, saving time and money for us and the clients, and developing new revenue streams. And we want to project that your asset is the theme. So we are going to elaborate a bit about those concepts to see what we are leading at, and with low overheads. Somebody asked me, how can you achieve low overheads in an accounting practice? Now, we test and measure things, and we developed and we restructured our practice in the way that we do not have high overheads. We can start with, we do have a virtual office. And if you really want to learn about it, instead of expensive rent, we need to pay. Our virtual office has everything but high cost. And of course, please reach out to us and ask more about the concepts we developed, because there's a very well founded everything we're saying. Innovation. Now we started to implement the latest technologies. Oh yeah, maybe see, just the way I thought it like that. Anyway, the latest technologies, we started with that, listening to experts, please start to implement technologies. The idea was that which technologies they work, which platforms, expert platforms, they're going to work for us. There's a big question. During these 5 years, we started to test and measure all those platforms. And now we concluded to some which they are working today. Big question was, and since then, new platforms developed, new ideas came through, and we tested them, and we do have answers for those. Experts like, I went to the CA website and stuff like that. CA is very confused about changes. Yes, we would like to implement new technologies, but which ones they do work? Now, instead of, then I started to search, and I found the ones who they work. That expert platforms are out there. You'll be surprised how much they can help you in your work. In the cloud, we believe in the cloud. It is the future. Someone said, embrace it, don't resist it. I found that so many, with the wind of change in our profession, so many, they stopped and they didn't embrace the change. But it is imperative to embrace it and don't resist it. And because you know, only the practices who embrace change, they will survive in the next 10 years. Efficiency, like improved time management. Now we started to improve our time management with calendars. We don't have interruptions during the day. There is a system we put in place, we can work uninterrupted during the day. The phone doesn't ring because we do have a silent calendar where people, they book in themselves, and we know exactly the subject we're going to talk about, the time we're going to talk about, who we're going to talk to. And in that moment, we are ready for the meeting. A client gets the best advice, and they didn't interrupt our day because they form part of our schedule. Improve processes and reforms, like what I mean by here, it is people that like to hold on to their servers and stuff like that. Servers, expensive server, this and that. You will have to actually reform those processes you got used to for the past 20 years, past 10 years. And the newcomers we are mentoring, they have a chance to actually step into the future without ever looking back to those old ways of doing things. And yes, you did spend a lot of time and money implementing those or processes, but it is time for change. So improved workflow. Now, there's plenty of new CRM programs which they are online. Everybody can log in from anywhere, from any time, and they actually record the workflow from start to finish, where it is just a bit of training process where you're training your team to actually step in there and get used to it. It is very clean, neat, and everybody from the team can follow where the workflow is going on a certain client, certain job. It is easy to implement these days. You don't need an expert to come out for days and weeks. It can be implemented in a day or so. So really, which ones, when I'm saying this, I repeat, we worked it out, which ones they work and which they are worth implementing. All these systems, they do not cost much. When we say low overheads, we actually stick to that idea. With training programs, what I wanted to say is that this is like saving you time. If you actually build a training program for everybody who you're going to engage as a staff, you know, so the training program is in the fundamentals you would like the staff to know. They have to be recorded. It only takes 1 or 2 days of your time. Just set up the subjects and record them. You as an expert, what would you like them to accomplish, and teach them. You record this once, and it is there forever, because the fundamentals of accounting, the fundamentals of tax, you actually expect your staff to know in order to help you with your work. You know, you have to set the standard. You have to impose it on staff. Staff learns it in the moment you are certain that this staff knows the fundamentals. This is when they can start to do some work. But I wouldn't encourage anyone to just sit on a chair and got hit with a folder trying to figure it out. And plus, young professionals, they would like to learn, and they would like to learn from you. So, and they're gonna look after you. You do it once, and it is the on demand. And that's what I meant, training programs. It saves you so much time and frustration, because, you know, this staff member learned this, he can't miss it. And if you notice that they didn't learn it very well, they will have to repeat the program up until they accomplish it. So don't make it complex, make it fundamentals, because building on fundamental skills, this is how we start to actually train our staff. And as we go along, we build the new systems and implement the ones which work. not every accounting practice implements the same system, because depends on the size, depends on the speed, depends on the kind of work you're doing. Some accounting practices are specialized on some things. They can be done, and there's everything is available there for you. Improved cash flow. What we found that there's management programs with experts. We had experts coming in and showed us how they have a debtor management program automated. Implements it in your practice, and you'll never have a problem with this. You'll never have to call our debtors ever again. And then we suggest package services and fixed fees. These package services, they save you a lot of headaches. You issue the engagement letter with package services. Everybody knows how much the invoice they're gonna be. There is no disputes or anything. And in the long run, it does pay off, saving you time, anguish, and the clients become happier. They know what they're gonna pay, and this is a happy client. With new revenue streams, we also develop new revenue streams. We associated with loan brokers, many professionals who they support our work, and they support our industry. And all these associations, they can bring in new revenue streams and also efficiencies in workflow. In the moment we have an associate in place, our clients, they don't have to ring around 7 loan brokers and stuff like that if they need a loan. Then we do have it handy, and it is just filling in a form, and the experts of those associations, they're gonna take over. Our time is not involved anymore, but we look professional. We did have the answer. And so loan broker is just only one example. You name it, who you can make associations with. Loan brokers, it was financial advisors, because our profession is separated from financial advice, and all that. Clients, they need these professionals, and they want you to have the answer. We have them handy. This is our financial advisor. It is only one call away. Again, so us as professionals, we shouldn't stop learning. We have to learn new skills daily. The latest, most useful skill is to become a pro advisor, become business advisor, and how you can achieve that, and how we can achieve that. We did achieve that. It is by buying advisory tools from experts. We don't have to build those forms, procedures, calculators and stuff like that. They are done from experts. All you have to do is to buy it, search the ones who are best. We are working with Peter for 5 years. The best advisory tools. You have to trust me, because I did research all the advisory platforms and experts, and I couldn't find a better one than Peter Towers with his BIZTOOLS platform. And you tell me if it's not a comprehensive tool. It is got everything you need to become a pro advisor. And then joining mentorship programs. Peter believes in mentoring. Isn't it true, Peter? Just everybody needs a mentor.
Yes, that's right, Priscilla. I think they do, all of us.
We had mentors to reach this stage. We listened to mentors, experts, I did for decades, because otherwise you can't improve it. Learn from the experts, save yourself time. Yeah?
That's right.
Your asset and the team, I believe, as I just said, build group training. And sometimes you can bring in experts from outside to train the team, or even you can build like leadership training, something a bit not quite to the topic of doing tax returns. Just try to teach them a broad view of the profession, to develop leadership skills, time management skills, all those things. They are very useful for the team. They're going to get entertained and they're going to look up to you like someone who is better than others. So they will like to work for you and with you. Rather, I believe that the team has to work with you rather than for you. Offer incentives, make a happy and safe environment for them so they feel good when they come to work. And these days, we have to offer flexible hours, job sharing. Young women, they appreciate that they have to raise a family, but in the same time, they have the ambitions to build their career. We have to listen to those needs and offer them also working from home. Some people, they do like to work from home, and so we suss out, and in that moment, we can restructure our office. We might be able to even rent a smaller office or rent just a part-time office, what I actually suggested. So we're saving outlays. There's plenty of things. So what I want to say, our mission was to empower accounting professionals with tools and knowledge in order to achieve their goals. So you reach out to us because I developed a membership program for accountants at all levels, and is mostly, the membership is mostly for startups stepping into the industry who would like to open their own practice, including bookkeepers and accountants. And then this is a membership program. Our membership program became a mentorship program at a higher level. So membership is still there. You get an instant entry to the market. If you are a startup and ready to open your practice, you can set up your practice in 7 days under our umbrella, and after that you fly out. We help you, hold your hand until you're ready to do it all alone. Grow your business. We offer again new revenue streams. We cross-refer a program in the plus access to the experts and associates. We are following to achieve your goals. We are following your study if you have to keep studying. We are mentoring you and expert support, one-on-one mentorship. We will take the work you picked up from your client and we'll mentor you through it. So you know exactly what needs to be done, any kind of jobs. Without us, you are all alone out there. You don't know what to do and you don't have the confidence to pick up any kind of jobs. With us, you can pick up the jobs, we sit down and you start to understand it. And in 1 or 2 years time, you are under our umbrella. You're gonna become the best professional out there. We offer the training at 2 levels, two streams, bookkeeping and tax and low outlay. We are not a franchise. I know so many of you, whoever wants to join our membership, you already bought a franchise. It costs you anything between $50,000 and $100,000. Us is not. It's just a fraction of it, just to cover our time for training and mentoring. That's all it is. And again, you can, because of new revenue streams, you can actually recover all the fees you have to pay for us. But come in. It is the best program out there. I worked on it for you. So to work for you. So we do have this, and we got different levels, but I'll show you where to find it and to accomplish this. But of course, you can always reach out to us. So are you ready to jumpstart your career and future-proof your practice? Cloud9 membership in one side, and the mentorship, which is on the top of the membership. Some people, they will have themselves to mentorship straight. but membership is more like, you know, tuning you into our profession and our industry and how to run a practice. And then you can take advantage of our research and innovation practices, which we already accomplished, and save time and effort. So we talked about mentorship. Mentorship, again, is amazing. I launched this last year, and it has these headings. And I'll show you where you can find it. We have the modern bookkeeper, we have the modern practice, and the emerging tax agent. These three for all groups of young professionals out there. So Cloud9 Group is you can find the membership program in the Cloud9 Group. This website, Cloud9 Resources, you're going to find new training programs we are launching. I'm launching training in Zero, all those new systems and stuff like that. I'm launching programs in tax, Zero, all those, you know, accounting programs you need to accomplish, and with the latest technology. Cloud9 Academy is going to give you the mentorship program, and you can express your interest. We will take you, hold your hand. Let's there you learn who is it meant for. I have the 3 tiles, and you can learn if you fit in something, if you need help. And Cloud9 Associates is the tax agent company who supports all of this. Without running a tax agent company to review, monitor, and how you call this, supervise members' activities, we cannot exist. This is a taxation board, you know, requirement. We do support you properly and professionally. So, and again, let's get back to learning new skills and help yourself to advisory resources. This is, I recommend it. And also now we having the news, we having weekly webinars to keep you up to date of everything, and the best tools in Australia, because I could say the best tools in the world, but they do refer to Australia, isn't it, isn't it, Peter? It is for them, for our Aussie amazing young professionals, isn't it? Oh, what I want to say here, I don't believe in outsource. I believe in actually supporting Australian young professionals. And I think Peter is the same.
Yeah. Okay, then. Thank you very much, Priscilla. And if anyone's got any questions, can they please send them in to us by logging on to chat? Or if you're watching this webinar on Facebook Live, can you send us an email, please? peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will pass the...
Yeah, and the tools are available at a discount. If you find the amazing tools that you need to help yourself, but here's what I was surprised, 3,000 resources, at least 3,000. You will never have to build a procedure yourself. It's amazing.
Okay, so we're going to move on now. Thanks, Priscilla. And we now want to look at offering research and development a proactive service. And I'm going to talk to you now about the research and development process.
Now you can't see your screen. At least I can't.
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring it back up. I thought I had the screen up. But,
it was.
No, it's not.
Yes, now you got it.
I've got it, have I? Okay. Okay, so offering research and development. How much new knowledge has been... You're still seeing it, Priscilla?
Yeah, but it's not full screen. That's what I want to say.
Oh, I don't know what's going on there.
You said from beginning, slideshow from beginning, and it is gonna bring. That's it.
Okay,
You
we
got
got
it.
it now. We got it at last.
Fabulous.
And I need to just work through to where we were at. Sorry about this, folks. We've had a bit of problem with the technology today. Probably my fault. Okay, so what I want to talk to you today about is how you can be far more effective as accountants in research and development. I was sitting thinking last week what we were going to present today in this session, and I thought about all the people at home during the lockout stage. What have they been doing? So if you've know that some of your clients or even some of your team have been developing new products, processes, or services, perhaps now is the time for your firm of accountants to show some real proactive support to your clients who are developing new knowledge. So let me do an overview of this, because I find a lot of accountants really don't understand how the research and development rules work. First of all, the extra benefit of research and development can only be claimed by a company. So if you've got clients who are really serious about undertaking this, they have to be a company, and they have to have spent more than $20,000 in a 12-month period on legitimate research and development. If their income is under $20 million per annum, they can get an R&D tax incentive offset calculated at 43.5% on the supportable, defendable research and development expenditure. And this is very important because this is all on the self-assessment process, so the client has to ensure that they've got proper records. And for companies with turnovers under $20 million, which I'm assuming covers a significant percentage of the businesses that accountants are acting for that are watching this video, your client can obtain a cash refund of the research and development component, the 43.5%, within 30 days of lodging the company's tax return, as long as you have ticked the box on the tax return which says you would like the cash return, a cash equivalent amount paid to you. Just remember that's going to adjust the overall profit and loss account, and it's a great benefit to businesses that are losing money because they're able to claim back the cash equivalent of the research and development amount. If you're acting for clients that have got turnovers over $20 million, the tax rebate is calculated at 38.5%, and there is no ability to get that cash payment of the research and development component paid to them. Now, the government is trying to get some changes made to research and development rules, but they seem to be caught up in the Senate. They're not going very far. So what I'm talking to you today is basically about the current law that's been passed. So let's look at the development of a system within your firm. You'll need to have a process for the internal approval, because an idea starts with someone, and over a cup of coffee, normally that person would talk to his or her boss and say, what do you think of this? Do you think this could work? And the boss might say yes. You've then got the concept of an initial project. And perhaps your client should be saying, we need to put a small team together, 1 or 2 people. And I think you should be encouraging your clients who are doing research and development to have a project coordinator who can look at the process and can make sure there's been prior art searches. That's basically checking databases held by in IP Australia, Intellectual Property Australia, and the American systems to see if anyone's already thought of this and already registered a patent, because your client's basically wasting their time if they're going to go forward. And the key thing is, under the Australian legislation for the research and development claim, is that your client must be able to pose certain hypotheses and answer them positively. Now, an hypothesis is basically a question or a comment as to the improvement that the process that they're working on can generate. And that has got to be able to be supported. And that needs to be identified. And from that, the process should be, I think, is to develop a research and development budget. What's it going to cost to do this? Where have we got to undertake these processes? What experts do we need to bring in? What's it going to cost for those people? You've then got the beginning of a research and development plan that should then go to the board of directors or to the senior executive for discussion and then authorization. You then need to get ready. So with your clients, you should be talking to them about how the team's going to work together, how they're going to be recording their times. You need to make sure that the team's employment agreements cover working on the development of new technology. And that means that their agreements have made provision for the assignment of intellectual property that they may develop, especially if this is not the normal area that they're employed to do with your client's business. There's been situations where people in an obscure position in a business have developed something, and if you're not careful, your client might find that the employee owns the intellectual property, not the firm. And most importantly, if your client's going to employ contractors, experts to undertake various components of this work, they need to have got from them an assignment of intellectual property agreement. Because unless your client's got that external contractor or expert can lay claim to part of the new product that's been developed. And there should be a system within your client's business to make sure these documents are appropriately filed, because it might be 7, 8, 10 years time before an issue emerges and someone's claiming that they're entitled to part ownership of this new wonder product that's been developed. It's also important that there's a proper trail of invoices. So my suggestion is that you would be saying to them, within your chart of accounts, you need to open a research and development account, and then we're going to have sub-accounts for each project. And you're going to be making sure that the invoices and other supporting documents are available for all of the expenditure. The next area you need to be looking at is planning the work. And that basically needs to be done, as far as the taxation office is concerned, in an orderly process, similar to what the expectation is how things might be done within a university research team. So they plan the process and they document that. That's basically in the R&D plan. But then as each week goes by, there should be basically a weekly meeting taking place within your client's organization so that they can document where they're at. And at the end of a month, a summary is prepared for submission to the CEO and board of directors as to what progress has been made. And please remember, some of these projects will result in failures. It won't work. I had an accountant rang me once and said, well, we can't claim anything because none of it worked. And I said, you are joking. And he said, can we claim when it is a failure? I said, most definitely you can. You can claim the R&D incentive, the rebate, even if it's a failure, because that's what the government's wanting you to do, wanting your clients to take the initiative to undertake research and development projects. And the government knows, and the tax office knows, that not every project's going to be successful, but your client is able to claim the unsuccessful ones. One of the big issues is if you want to have any of the work done overseas, or your client wants some of the work done overseas, they need to submit an application to the tax office, preferably before the money's expended. But it has to be lodged normally by the 30th of June. This year that's been extended to the 30th of September because of the COVID coronavirus. And that document has to outline why it's necessary to have the expenditure undertaken overseas. And a warning, your client will have to be able to argue they basically can't get it done anywhere else in Australia. And protection of intellectual property is very important. So at some stage, if your client thinks that they're on a winner, they need to be talking to a patent attorney about putting in place some protection around the technology that they're receiving. And then we turn to the work. We were just going through all the processes then. The systematic progression of work is very important. This is the documentation, what's been done, and feeding in a journey story as to what's happened on this whole process. Now, within ESS BIZTOOLS, we've developed a complete product package that allows an accountant to implement this process with your clients so that this work process can be undertaken. And let's look at some of the other issues about what happens on research and development. Your clients finish the project, they've developed a new widget, and it might look like something like that, but ultimately they have a dream it's going to look like something like that. So it's going to move. And that has then got to get to the marketplace. And that is called the commercialization process. That can be very expensive. And I've done a lot of work in this area, acting as a consultant for Oz Industry, because Oz Industry, or the government, has got a program called Accelerating Commercialisation Grant. A business can obtain up to $1 million on a 50-50 basis. So the application needs to be submitted, and many of your clients will need your assistance. And in the accelerating commercialization process, the work can then be done, which takes the basic research and development prototype into getting it ready to go to the market, but also looks at distribution agreements and a whole range of other matters which normally cost a lot of money. And at that stage, you possibly should be having a discussion with your client about how they're going to run this business. And the government was very smart a couple of years ago, and they introduced a separate company called an early stage innovation company. Now, this company could in fact be part of the deal when your client was going to undertake the accelerating commercialization grant, because I mentioned that your client has to provide 50% of the cost. So if the project was approved at $1 million grant, the client's got to find $1 million. Most clients I know would have great difficulty finding that. So one way of doing that is that they could get investors to come on board, and a special vehicle is being created by the government called an early stage innovation company. And you could assist in getting the company investment ready so that worthwhile discussions could be held with potential investors. Or an alternative to that, because the company might be a bit bigger, because you can only apply for early stage innovation companies if you're under a certain age, under 3 years of age as a company, and your income's under $200,000 and your expenditures under $1 million in the previous 12 months. That's a fairly narrow target. The alternative to that is to look at crowdsource funding equity raising. Company can raise up to $5 million from as many investors as it wishes. And there's a whole legal process in place. And there are special consultants, there's 16 of them, who have been appointed in Australia by ASIC, referred to as crowdsource funding intermediaries. So your client's got a need to know how all this works and then go through the process if they wish to utilize those capital raising activities to give them the funding. I think research and development is the start of a great journey, and your firm should be part of it, because there's a lot of interesting work which will satisfy your ambitious young accountants. The first of all is helping the clients implement the research and development system. The second thing is submitting the company's tax return and claiming the research and development rebate. And if the research and development has identified a product that could be commercialized, then going through and helping in some parts, perhaps part of the documentation of what's happened for the patent application process, assisting your client to get that accelerating commercialization grant. And then your firm could probably undertake some of the work which will be approved to be funded by the accelerating commercialization grant. You might ask what? I've done business plans, budgets, cash flow forecasts, been the project manager for 2 years, because there has to be a quarterly report submitted to AusIndustry. Some clients don't like the idea of completing those reports. It's a computerized package that's been developed by AusIndustry. You could undertake that work. So there's a number of assignments that you could undertake that the client's really only going to have to pay 50% of the cost. And then if you're interested in, and your client's wanting to proceed on the early stage innovation company, there's a range of documentation required: business plan, budgets and cash flows, and a supporting documentation report, because these investors are going to receive some special taxation benefits by investing in an early stage innovation company. They want to make sure that this company's real, that this company's really done what they have to have done for the early stage innovation company badge. And that's something we could talk about in a separate webinar. We haven't got time in this one today. Or you could help your client go through the crowdsourced funding journey. And again, it's a business plan, budgets and cash flows, but then an understanding of who these people that are called crowdsourced funding intermediaries are and what their duties and responsibilities and powers are, because your client's going to have to work with them. And there could be some other work to do with crowdsourced funding that I've listed there, working with the intermediary to get this client into a situation where they're in a position to apply for funding. Now, if you have any questions on how research and development operates and how your firm might be able to introduce this as a product package, you could send me an email, peter@eossbiztools.com.au, or if you're on the live webinar, you can type your questions into chat, please. The next item I want to refer to, though, is the COVID-19 news update. So I'm wearing another hat now. I'm going back to being the host, and we're just going to look at the news update. So yesterday, the government's starting to announce through the media, I think the final announcements that have come out today, on what they're calling stimulus package number 4. What I've read so far is benefits of about $680 million that are basically going to flow through to the building and construction industries, either through a $25,000 grant to the homeowners, new homeowners made by the government. And there are some means test limits on that amount, which we will be updating our material on in the next couple of days. And there is also a grant, I understand, of $25,000 also for renovations costing over $150,000. So as always with government programs, there are restrictions as to minimum amounts, maximum amounts, and there always appears to be some people who will criticize and complain. But let's look at the overall $680 million the government expects to be injected into these programs. And the end recipients are going to be the construction and building industries. All the various tradies are going to be able to get work, and people obviously are going to get a house which hasn't quite cost them as much money. So more on that over the next couple of days, and we will talk more about it next Friday in our next webinar along this series of COVID-19 support that we are presenting at ESS BizTools together with our affiliates. The monthly JobKeeper lodgements for June are now due and have to be lodged by the 14th of June. I probably said that the wrong way there, for the month of May. So they relate to the wage payments that were made in the month of May by any business that's registered for JobKeeper. But you also have to supply the actual turnover for May and then your business's estimate for June. And I know that many accountants are actually offering this as a service to your clients, and you've only got 14 days in which to do it, and 5 of those days have gone already. So you've got under the 14th of June to get that information into the tax office so that they will pay the next round of JobKeeper payments. Just a reminder that to talk to your clients about the coronavirus SME guarantee loan, this opportunity is only available under the 30th of September, because when the Reserve Bank made the $105 billion available to the Australian banking industry, it was on the strict condition that any money which had not been lent to SME businesses by the 30th of September was to be returned to the Reserve Bank. These loans are loans that 50% of the debt's being guaranteed by the federal government. The rules say that the bank cannot charge any security at all, although I hear some of them are asking for personal guarantees. The loans are for a maximum of 3 years for a maximum amount of $250,000, and they are to be utilised for working capital purposes. Just a reminder that some of your clients may not have already qualified for JobKeeper based on what happened in March, April, and even May, but perhaps in June you find that turnovers have dropped, and if they've dropped more than 30% when compared to June in 2019, and that client is prepared to continue to employ people, then they could apply to become part of the JobKeeper program from there on. So make sure your team's aware of that and looking for that in discussions with clients. So that's the JobKeeper update. I'm just going to check to see whether we have any questions on that. I can't see any. So if you think of some, you can type them into chat now, and we will talk about them. Or you can send an email with questions for Priscilla, or to me for questions relating to research and development, and we will get back to you with an answer. So obviously, if you're watching this as a live feed on Facebook, or you're one of the many people who we understand don't participate in the direct webinars because they like looking at things over the weekend. If you're looking at it over the weekend and you have some questions, please send us an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and we will get back to you.
Yes, I do have the answers for the JobKeeper program and all the questions. I can answer all the questions about JobKeeper.
Okay, thanks, Priscilla. Okay, ESS BizTools, we'll just give you a brief overview. We've got business improvement tools to assist you to be able to add value to your clients, covering all the matters that I've been talking about today. So we have research and development systems there ready for you to start using. Read the material first, go through the training program which we've implemented, and you're ready to go with your clients. Identification of government grants. There are grants out there that will support people who are doing research and development, but most of them are when they've finished that research and development and they want to start the commercialization process. Other than, of course, the research and development incentive, which is there for everyone, but you have to be a company. business plans, budgets and cash flow forecasts, corporate governance. It's all part of that picture, especially if your clients want to proceed to be able to try to raise capital. And then we have product packages which take you through every step of the early stage innovation company journey, the crowdsource funding equity raising journey. We have a COVID-19 coronavirus package, and the COVID-19 package is built into our survival in difficult times product package, which was developed for people who have suffered some difficulties in businesses, and it had been updated in January and early February, primarily for the people who had suffered from the droughts, from the bushfires and the floods. And then along come this thing called coronavirus, which really caused some panic and has caused a lot of problems around the world. And we need to be very grateful in Australia that our government had the financial ability to be able to step in and make the support programs that have been made available for Australian businesses. So if you want more details, please visit our website, www.essbiztools.com.au. Next week, we continuing these webinars. If you like these webinars, you can watch them every Friday at 12 noon AEST through to the 30th of September. We are working together with our affiliates and a range of other people that, and one of them's appearing next week, and we're going to tell you who in a moment. So the speakers next week are Andrew Geddes, a well-known accountant, coach, and mentor. And Andrew has diversified his talents, and he's been a public company director now for many years, and he has just finished serving 9 years as the chair of Green Cross Limited, a veterinary surgery business that started in a one surgery in Townsville about 25 years ago. And Andrew was the advisor then, and then just grew with that company. The other speaker is Renee Shelton from Oz Industry, who's going to talk about government grants that are available. So she'll give you a bit more in-depth commentary on grants like accelerating commercialisation and others that Oz Industry is the responsible organisation for handling for federal government grants. You can register for that webinar by going to our website, essbiztools.com.au/webinars, and we will look forward to seeing you then. And for more information, you can go to the ESS BizTools website, Survival in Difficult Times, Learn More, where we've got a wide range of information. Or you can contact us, and there's an email address there and our telephone number. Please contact us if you've got any questions. I'd now like to say to you, stay safe. Thank you for participating today or watching this sometime later or watching us on the live feed on Facebook. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Priscilla, thank you very much for your contribution today.
I appreciate your time and I appreciate your invitation.
Okay, so thank you very much, Priscilla, and to everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your weekend. I understand some states of Australia have got a long weekend this weekend. Well, Priscilla and I both live in Queensland, so it's work as usual on Monday for us. But if you're in the states that have the long weekend, enjoy it. And thank you for being with us, and hopefully you're able to join us again next Friday for the next installment of this series of webinars on COVID-19 survival tactics for accountants to help your businesses survive and become bigger and stronger businesses later this year. Thank you and have a good day. Goodbye.